This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, we now bring you an exclusive interview with Neelesh Kumar Sah, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of India, on priority areas of G20 Environment, Climate and Sustainability Working Group meeting. The interviewer is Lalima Aneja Dang, AIR correspondent.
As we all know that India has the pride of hosting G20 summit this year, well, it's a watershed moment for all of us. The fact that India is holding presidency of G20 this year. Let's begin with the philosophy which India has given to the entire world, and that is of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning one earth, one family, one future. How are we planning to build on this theme through ECSWG?
The theme of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, is drawn from the ancient Sanskrit text of the Maha Upanishad. Essentially, the theme affirms the value of all life, human, animal, plant and microorganisms, and their interconnectedness on the planet Earth and in the wider universe. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnanam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This basically means there should be welfare, peace, fulfillment and well-being for all. The G20 presidency brings with it the chance to turn challenges into opportunities, especially in areas where national and international efforts amalgamate. The essence of our presidency can be found in the idea of one world, one family and one future, highlighting our shared priorities, the need for collective action and unified goals. The ECSWG intends to build consensus and unified action on the environment and climate crisis. It offers a chance for G20 countries to learn from India's age-old traditions like Ayurveda, which operates on the principle to prevent and treat illness by maintaining balance in the body, mind and consciousness through proper use of the natural resources.
Right, indeed. We've always believed in Sarva Sukhina Bhavantu, which means let everybody be happy, all living beings be happy, not just living beings, but let God's blessing be on not just us, but the earth, the mountains, the rivers, the trees. That's the kind of philosophy we believe in. Well, so the concept of life got launched by the Honorable Prime Minister and Antonio Guterres last year as a global mission. How does ECSWG look to advancing the agenda of life through its activities?
Well, our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, during the launch of Life Mission in October 2022, along with UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, challenged the prevailing notion that climate change is an issue only related to policy to be led by government or international organizations. He said that people are experiencing the effects of climate change in their surroundings, and in the last few decades, unexpected calamities were witnessed. This is making it amply clear that a climate change goes beyond policy making only, and people themselves are finding that they should contribute as an individual, families, and as communities to the environment. India's G20 presidency wants to catalyze this fundamental mindset shift. Mission Life makes the fight against climate change democratic, in which everyone can contribute within their capacity to protect the environment. Mission Life believes that the environment can be protected by making changes in our daily lives. For example, the adoption of LED bulbs in India for reducing electricity bills and protecting the environment. The ECSWG will advance the agenda of life through its priority areas by promoting lifestyle choices and production practices built upon the pillars of resource efficiency and circular economy, aimed at mindful utilization instead of mindless consumption. The working group will also deliberate on the opportunity to collectively define a new paradigm for sustainable and resilient growth based on life's three principles of demand, supply and policy.
Right. Yes, you mentioned the LED bulb. That change has not just led to less consumption of energy, but also it has saved a lot of the country's money. And that has been a huge success all over the country. And talking of climate change, we not only see it in India with Rajasthan getting floods and Chennai getting huge floods, but we also see it all over the world with the Europe where the temperatures touch 45 degrees now and people don't know what to do and how to deal with that kind of heat. Indeed, climate change is a reality which we have to deal with. So Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group, ECSWG as we are calling it in short, will meet on 4 occasions in 2023 to discuss priority issues. Can you tell us more about what's on the agenda of these meetings?
For the 4 meetings of Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group, they are scheduled to be hosted by our ministry, that is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The discussions at ECSWG will focus on the agenda of restoration of degraded lands and ecosystem and enriching biodiversity, promotion of blue economy along with coastal sustainability, and strengthening circular economy. The working group will organize G20 meetings in 4 different parts of the country. They are Bengaluru, Gandhinagar, Mumbai and Chennai. Our guests will get full experience of India's amazing diversity, inclusive traditions and cultural richness through the meetings. For instance, during the first working group meeting scheduled from 9th to 11th February at Bengaluru, the G20 delegates are scheduled to visit the Kalkere Arboretum and Banerghatta Biological Park at Bengaluru. At Kalkere, the delegates will have an opportunity to visualize and experience 4 predominant forest ecosystems of Karnataka state.
Oh.
The State Forest Department will also showcase the forest restoration models adopted in these ecosystems and the successful revival of faunal biodiversity in these areas. The Banerghatta Biological Park will showcase the state-of-art butterfly park and animal safaris to the delegates. The Karnataka Forest Department will also highlight the flagship ecotourism model, the Jungle Lodge Resort, which is extremely popular for nature lovers globally. Further, the rich legacy of Karnataka handicrafts and textiles will be showcased through the pavilions at the venue. The events will showcase the rich cultural and artistic heritage of Karnataka, ensuring that delegates can learn from best practices and carry a flavor of Karnataka with them. As we move on to other locations, Gandhinagar, Mumbai and Chennai will be replicating something similar, City of Gardens.
What better place to have the conference begin at Bengaluru than any other city, because Bengaluru is the city of gardens indeed. And as you said that, yes, we'll showcase our handicrafts, and I've always believed that vis-a-vis the industry, the handicrafts are very eco-friendly usually. And of course, it will preserve and conserve arts and crafts. Many of our craftsmen, that will be a side advantage of this meeting indeed. That's great. So deep diving on the first sub-priority, why has India chosen arresting land degradation, accelerating ecosystem restoration and enriching biodiversity? What exactly are we planning to achieve under this priority?
The land, which is a finite resource, is the foundation of our lives and livelihoods. Globally, human-induced land degradation adversely impacts over 3 billion people, contributing to reduced agricultural output, health crisis and distress migration. Increasing population and consequent increase in competition for different land uses exerts tremendous pressure on land-based natural capital.
Right.
Climate change is exacerbating the rate and magnitude of land degradation processes and introducing new degradation patterns. Land degradation also has adverse impacts on the biodiversity of the region. In fact, 1990, it is estimated that some 420 million hectares of forests have been lost through conversion to other land uses, although the rate of deforestation has decreased over the past 3 decades. In 2012, the UN Conference on Sustainable Development, what we also know as UN SCD, or Rio +20, agreed to strive to achieve a land degradation neutral world in the context of sustainable development. Since then, over 115 countries have committed to national action plans to restore close to 10 million square kilometers of degraded land under the Rio Conventions, the Bonn Challenge, and other global and regional initiatives. The Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework too stresses on the need for restoration and ecological connectivity. Past G20 presidencies have also taken ambitious voluntary targets of reducing degraded land by 50% by 2040 and increase cooperation to achieve land degradation neutrality by 2030. India's presidency intends to build upon these foundations to drive meaningful action to arrest land degradation and accelerate ecosystem restoration. The discussions would also cover financing mechanisms and frontier technologies to promote avenues such as payment for ecosystem services to preserve ecosystems. As a part of this sub-theme, India can also bring to the notice of the world its success with landscape restoration approaches for building its forest cover and restoration of biodiversity in forest fire impacted areas, mining affected areas, etc. India will also emphasize the importance of monitoring holistic indicators for ecological restoration beyond greening of landscape, including the emergence of keynote species via successful programs such as Project Tiger, Project Elephant, Project Dolphin, Project Lion, etc.
Indeed, land degradation is happening at a very fast rate, considering that forests are vanishing. And floods, of course, when they bring the silt down to the plains. And then the sea levels are rising, which may consume a few countries. That is another fear which is lurking around. Of course, some factors are man-made and some natural. But yes, we have to gear ourselves for the next step. Well said, G20 countries have a special responsibility towards the ocean, as all of them are coastal states, collectively responsible for 45% of the world's coastline and over 21% of exclusive economic zones, EEZs as we call them. How do you see India's presidency addressing these pressing issues?
Well, you already mentioned that G20 country is collectively responsible for 45% of the world's coastline and over 21% of EEZs. It is very important for G20 to deal with the issues related to oceans. The ocean forms a critical revenue source for all G20 countries, as evidenced by the special focus on ocean conservation and blue economy in G20 meetings in the past decade. We intend to carry forward this focus by zeroing in on three important aspects of protecting our oceans. How do we reduce the litter in our oceans?
Right.
How do we conserve the habitats and ecosystems in our oceans? How do we sustainably extract value out of our oceans without damaging them? The discussions within the oceans priority at the ECSWG will hinge on these three questions while addressing other allied aspects of the blue economy. We intend to carry forward initiatives taken in the past G20 presidencies like the Ocean 20, which was in Indonesia, 2022. We intend to establish the Ocean 20 dialogue to address aspects of unlocking ocean value and ocean conservation, among other topics. Then we have Osaka Blue Ocean Vision, which was basically in the G20 meeting held in 2019. We intend to continue tracking actions against marine litter and build out principles for a sustainable blue economy based on broad guidance from the Osaka Blue Ocean Vision. We also intend to take note of and further initiatives by other G20 presidencies and highlight them appropriately as well.
Yeah, thank you. You've given us a very beautiful perspective on that. And we do know that the Western world is now replacing the plastic straws with paper straws. And literally speaking, that's a drop in the ocean. We need to do much more. So one word which is coming nowadays again and again, and the Honorable Prime Minister has also mentioned, is the word circular economy. Now that is the key bridge between economic growth and resource consumption. India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant recently spoke on laying emphasis on circular economy during the summit. Can you please elaborate on more on this?
Circular economy is crucial to delink economic growth with resource consumption. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has given the vision of Mission Circular Economy in his Independence Day address in 2021. Circular economy action plans in 11 waste streams have been formulated and are under implementation. Extended producer responsibility and polluter pays principles have been integrated in the formulation of waste management rules. In the year 2022, revised waste management rules in plastics, waste, tires, e-waste, battery waste, incorporating these principles have been notified. These rules focus increasing circularity, thereby reducing the use of virgin materials so as to halt biodiversity loss, address climate change, and abate greenhouse gas emissions. These rules give mandatory targets for using recycled materials as well as recycling and reusing materials. Also, to encourage consumers and producers making environmentally conscious choices, Honorable Prime Minister has launched Mission Life, which can drive large-scale behavior change globally by ushering in reduce, reuse, recycle principles.
Right. Well, as the world is moving towards a more consumeristic monster, if I may call it, and take the risk of sounding a little rude, we need to think about our ecology more and more so in the G20. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your precious time to be with us at All India Radio, and thank you for the lovely update that you've given us on what's the plan around for G20. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You were listening to an exclusive interview with Neelesh Kumar Sah, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of India, on priority areas of G20 Environment, Climate and Sustainability Working Group meeting. The interviewer was Lalima Aneja Dang, AIR correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about the program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.